Laura Palmer, who's a past president of Art Noir also.
Yeah,
A fundraiser by day, Laura Palmer considers herself a genuine male nerd, as in M-A-I-L, who makes postcards and is an active Art Center volunteer. She also encourages you to be an active Art Center volunteer. In addition to drawing and talking about herself, she loves Iowa, the USPS, Rothko, highlighters, stoop gardens, confetti cannons, mixtapes, bourbon, dancing, and egg rolls.
Woo!
And lists. She really loves lists.
Is it time to go?
It's time to go.
I don't think, so I'm going to just talk to you. So when Matt McQuillan asked me to PKN again, I told him I would on one condition, and that was that I could do an entire presentation about myself. So, while some of you in the audience over here might find me as fascinating as I find myself, I tried to appeal to a broader audience. So I chose something I'm equally as obsessed with, and that's lists. That's my mom, not me. I've been obsessed with lists since I was a kid. I make to-do lists, I make honey-do lists. I keep a mental list of honey-don'ts. I write and rewrite my grocery list if they don't look nice. So it's good to know that about 71% of women, according to some random study I read, make lists, and only 60% of men, which is of course not surprising. 11% of them only cross their items off at the end of the day. So when I was 23, I made this list. 23 things in my 23rd year to do in Des Moines. The goal was to be brave and apparently go to Tonic. And yeah, we're just gonna skip ahead to when I was 27 because it was a much better year. So in 2010, I decided I'd publish my list because of course all of you wanted to read along with me. 27 things in my 27th year. The goal was the same: be brave, try new things, and document the adventure along the way. Thank you to the 9 people in the audience who read along over the last 3 years. I really appreciate it. So I thought tonight I'd share with you, for those who don't read along, what I've been up to. I made Coco Vaughn, which I can only pronounce correctly because I practiced in the car on the way here. I held a snake outside the Iowa State Fair because Kev paid the guy $5 so that I could hold a snake that came out of a box with a dog. I met 8 artists in the last 3 years right here at the Des Moines Art Center and made lists, obviously, of what I learned from them. I hosted my first ever mixtape exchange, where, as you can imagine, was a list of the best songs of 2010. And for some random reason, 90 people registered. So I got to send discs all the way to Portugal. I gave blood while I was wearing glitter glasses, and then promptly passed out on an emergency cot that they packed me in ice and then tried to hide me from the other people giving blood, which just ended up a man sipping orange juice who told me he gave gallons of blood and never passed out. It was pretty embarrassing. I trained for a 5K and then forgot to pick up my packet, then ran 2 other 5Ks that I didn't train for, and a mile. I complained the whole time, and then accidentally signed up for a kickboxing class that was taught by, no joke, a man named Pete Peterson. Pete Peterson only taught MMA fighters, and we did push-ups with the guys who smelled like 8th grade boys' locker rooms. Giggled the whole time. I had buy a new car on my list for 2 full years, finally had to do it when it wouldn't go in reverse anymore. I went on road trips, had the best fried chicken of my life at Stroud's in Kansas City. I met strangers who became friends and many friends who became family. And I really credit the list for all of that. I took a photo through a peephole in my favorite city in San Diego, or hotel in San Diego, and won a photo contest, of course. I won a euchre tournament and a turkey. I cooked a turkey in April, and then again for my first Thanksgiving in Des Moines. I think that's all I have to say about that. So I ended up on other people's lists. One of my former students from Drake read that I wanted to see the Hawkeyes live, and he took me with his Nebraska-loving family to Lincoln to watch my Hawkeyes get beat in one of the most boring football games I've seen in my life. I've also been fishing more times in the last 3 months than I ever wanted to in my entire life. Thank you. And I wore that hat. So. I remixed To Ignition with my R. Kelly cover band, who's here tonight. I wore full-body spandex as a grown-up, dressed as a Power Ranger. And I drew naked people at Drink and Draw for the first time since college. That's right, I drew naked people in college. A couple times, without laughing. That's with crayons. Oh, I met celebrities. That's Britt Daniel, and I am wearing a dress. I just realized I look pretty naked in that photo. As a a child and as a grown-up, I was told I had fleeting passions, which is code for adult ADD. So what the list did for me was a way for me to add focus and follow through to what I was doing, which is not something I excelled at. I also was a badass, which is what I yelled as I was riding on the back of that stranger's motorcycle when we scooped the loop on my 29th birthday. I shot 100-year-old guns with Liz's dad and tried to keep my knees from shaking, which much like they are right now, so I didn't shoot something other than that target. I'm pretty sure none of those holes are mine. Oh, I got bangs. That's pretty close to the haircut I have now that I have in that photo in kindergarten. I took a lot of photo booth photos, like a lot. Sorry, Kevin. And also many by myself, because pretty soon people give up when you just want to take photos of them all the time or of yourself. The list allowed me to grow. It didn't make me as green with envy. I blossomed. I sprouted new ideas. Really, I just got to use as many puns as I wanted because, again, only 9 people read along with me. And everybody in here should know by now that I love a good pun. So, in my extensive research for this presentation, which clearly was a lot, mostly about myself, I came across this psychological principle called Zeigarnik, which I know I'm mispronouncing, just like I do PKN, but bear with me. It basically means that our brains focus, like obsessively, on what we haven't yet done instead of the things we've completed, which is me. I'm always thinking about what I want to do next, or where I'm going to go next, or why haven't I done this yet, instead of just enjoying the fact that I'm wearing a ghetto chain while carving a pumpkin for the first time since I was a child, in glasses and Ugg boots. So I guess all of you are probably wondering right now, why is she talking so fast? And secondly, why talk about herself and lists? Well, the reason number one is pretty obvious. I love talking about myself. So thank you for letting me have this opportunity. Secondly, you're all witnessing tonight me crossing number 6 off my year 30 list, so thank you for participating. But lastly, not to sound super hokey or super excited, but I think for me, I realized that doing is so much better than planning, because in the doing, I found my stories that I get to share with you tonight. I fell more in love with the city that I now call home than ever. I sell my postcards, which I never thought I'd do before. I've made new friends, got a new job, and I'm here doing this again tonight. So, doing is better than planning. I can't wait to hear your stories.